Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. We are on day 7 of our crafty advent calendar, a whole week in. Can you even believe it? Let's take a look and see what we've got for today. Ooh, we've got some butterflies, and these are stencils. So let's take a closer look at these. This is a pack of 3. We've got 2 full butterflies. And then the last sheet has 2 sort of side profiles of these butterflies. So we're going to go ahead and do some ink blending for these. I am working on a smaller panel card. This measures 3.5 by 4 7/8. And I am using some Bristol board here. This blends really nicely with our brushes and our Distress Oxide ink. So I've got my stencil taped down there, and I pulled out a rainbow of Distress Oxide colors. I'm going to be using Abandoned Coral, Fossilized Amber, Spiced Marmalade, Twisted Citron, Peacock Feathers, Sealess Preserves, and then Black Soot. So I did some blending for 3 of these butterflies, and I've left that whole process in here for you, but sped it up quite a bit. So I'm going to meet you back at the end of our blending. All right, now that our blending is complete, we're going to add our sentiments. I'm using a stamp set from the stamp market. This is called Cosmo Cluster. Now, this does have a big cluster of flowers, but it also comes with several really nice sentiments. So, I'm going to be using 3 of those today. I decided I wanted to stamp for you over top of this butterfly. Now, I pulled out my trusty Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And this did stamp. However, I didn't like the way that it was muted over top of our color. So you'll see here, I tried stamping it 4 times and then I realized it just was not going to give me the dark color that I wanted. So I had the option of using a pen and drawing over top of that, which would have worked. Or, and what I ended up deciding to do was to use some embossing powder. So you'll see I'm going to bring that back in here. Luckily, that lined up perfectly the way I needed it to. However, we're going to now pull out our Versamark ink and I'm going to stamp right over top of that black ink. Now, silly me, I forgot to use some anti-static powder. So, as I add my embossing powder, you will see, and I've sort of froze framed this for you here. This is your reminder. If you are going to do heat embossing, make sure you are using your anti-static tool. Look at that mess. I was thankfully able to clean this up and I didn't lose my panel, but it took me a long time. It was painstakingly, I sat there and got rid of all of those extra little granules with a dry paintbrush. Now here you'll see I'm going to use my anti-static tool. And just look and see how clean that image comes out. It really does make all the difference. I finished up stamping our 3rd panel with a sentiment that reads, "Sending happy thoughts to happy up your day." And now we're going to get these panels attached to our card front. So I have trimmed these down to 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. And then my black panel is the same size as my card base. So that is our original 3 1/2 by 4 7/8. I've cut down some foam just slightly smaller than our butterfly panels. I'm adding that using some art glitter glue. Then of course I will place art glitter glue on the back of the foam and I will add that piece to our card front. Just giving a little black border to each of these. Next, we'll add some art glitter glue to the back of that panel and place that on our card base. Now these are store-bought card bases. I have them in my stash and need to use them up. So normally I do prefer to make my own card bases out of Nina, but I am holding on to so many craft supplies and I am trying to work my way through them. So these are not perfectly sized. I'm just going to take my scissors and trim around the little extra on the edges. For the inside, I've got some Nina paper panels trimmed to 3¼ by 4 5/8. I've cut off some extra 1/4 inch black pieces, added some score tape to the back of that, and I'm going to run that along the bottom just to give our cards a little something extra on the inside. We'll add some ATG to the back and place our panels on the inside of our card base. And that will complete our trio of butterfly cards. Now, after this was finished, I decided it was just bothering me that the body of that pink and orange and yellow butterfly was not black like the others. So I went in with a pen and just went right over top of that Distress Oxide ink, colored in, and we will end up with a black butterfly body with our bright, pretty wings on either side. Here are a few close-ups of the finished cards. In the description box below, you'll find a list of supplies as well as links for everything I've used today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 8.